So welcome to another episode of Scaling with Words. And I am your host, Stephanie, and I'm so excited to be able to bring you guys an opportunity that social media graced us with a great connection of, little did we know, we talk to the same people. We run in a very small yet awesome and amazingly empowering circle of Christian moms. And so I am excited to bring you both here today. Would you guys introduce yourselves? Fill me in on what you guys do, because I love what you do. So fill me in, share with us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. So I am Vanessa Horton.
I'm Shana. Yeah.
And so we have a company called Ideal Balance. Our podcast is financial coaching for women, and we teach women how to manage their finances, how to put systems in place, not only for personal, but for business, and just really teaching them how to organize stuff so it's one less thing on their plate.
Yeah. So we are best friends and business partners, and we help people who make good money but have nothing to show for it figure it out, get organized, and get into a system where they feel confident and they can get excited about budgeting. Like, because it's not a bad word. Some people say it's the B word, but it's not. We try to make it fun.
Well, we have another B word. So we just came up with our strategists from our coaching program, bougie on a budget. So that is kind of where we're trying to go. It's like, listen, your budget is not a one size fits all. It is unique for you and your situation, and what bougie means to you is different for somebody else, right? So it's like, we want to make your budget so you can live that life that you desire.
Yeah.
And I love that, because I see it so many times where we're on social media and you might see somebody who's like, this is the dream, right? And it's this property looking out at whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, but that's not me. Like, I don't want that much water that close to my front door. Like, you love that. Love that for you. But that's not me. I am like, put me in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of some acres somewhere with trees. Like, I'm good with that.
Maybe some mountains. Yeah.
I would, if you could add mountains, that'd be great. So I love that you guys, it's for you, right? Because everybody is different. Our family sizes are different. What we do is different. What we want is different. So if we're trying to one size fits it all, it won't work. It just won't. So I love that you guys do it. So it's for you and for what you have going in your goals.
Yeah. So we initially started out, we both got our certifications through Dave Ramsey, which a lot of people have heard of. And we started because we both did our own Dave Ramsey journey, and we started with that. And then through the years, as we've coached, we've realized that is a kind of a one size fits all. And a lot of people come to us being like, I don't want to live on beans and rice. I still want to take my kids on trips and vacations. And maybe I want to let them play sports, or maybe we want to, have some money for Christmas this year or whatever. And so, like you said, none of our people that we talk to, and I'm sure it's the same with yours, they're not trying to get a yacht or go to wherever that waterfront play, Bali or whatever. They just want to live their life, be good stewards of the money that they have already. And and that's all it is. It's very simple. It's very, but the kind of the shame and the taboo that has been around budgeting is what we've been working to undo.
Yeah. We have a lot of people that come to us and like, I don't use a budget. I don't want to use a budget. I don't like budgets. Like, they just have, like Shana said, all of this
baggage,
PTSD, baggage around doing a budget. And so when we put ours together to show them, hey, you can go out to eat with your family and also pay off debt. Hey, you can take a vacation and also build wealth. Hey, you can have a business, like build your business and watch that flourish. And also it's going to pay you consistently each month, right? So the idea is to build it, like we said, around you and what's important. So that way it's not somebody else's budget or somebody else's system or somebody else's, it is yours, because it's what works for you, and it's what brings you joy.
Yep. And you're going to be then, because it's yours, right? That ownership, you're going to be more invested in it. And money, I mean, I know that money has a taboo conversation around it. It's a lot of yucks. And do we want to have those hard conversations? So what got you guys into this kind of a sometimes hard topic to be like, yep, we're diving in and we're going to do this? Like, what got you guys started with it all?
So Shana and I have known each other for 10 years. Is it 10 years? I think almost. We're going on 11. So our boys were 4. They were in VPK together at the YMCA, and we were working out together in this group, didn't know each other. And she said, I need a church. I just moved here. And I said, I just went to a new church. And so I said, come with me next week. And we became friends, and our kids hung out all the time together. We went to the beach together. Our families were really close. And from that flourished a wonderful relationship. They moved a couple of times because they were military. And in 2019, she messaged me and she
Hold on,
said,
wait. I'm going to pause her because she loves to throw this part out. Or forget this part. It's so funny. So, and it's really pivotal. So we both were young moms trying to make it work. Like so many people can totally relate to. We were the most frugal moms. We did all the free things that when we it was just fine. And I got this book called Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. And I read it and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I gave it to my husband and he read it and he said, we already do this. And I was like, that's fine. So he was all done. So I gave it to Vanessa. Vanessa's not the kind of person to take these things lightly. So she got the book, she took it and ran with it, coupled with a vacation she took with her grandparents to really showed her the meaning and the value of like living a full, but less simple, like a downsized life. And so she took that and ran with it, got mortgage free while I was basically gone. She started on that journey, got mortgage free, downsized her house, all that kind of stuff. While I was gone, we also got debt free and finally he reread it. No, I'm just kidding. We took his course and he's like, oh, okay, I get it. And now he still to this day listens to Dave every day. It's fine. Anyway, so that all happened. And then 2019, what happened?
So I remember God speaking to me and saying, you're going to start your business mortgage free and debt free. And I laughed and I thought, what does that mean? How do you do that? I don't understand. Like I was really confused. And so I did the thing, like I looked at the schedule from the bank, the amortization schedule, and it was like, oh, it's just math. I love math. I can do this. So my husband and I paid off our house. And I remember walking around my house with my palms up going, okay, God, I did the thing. I'm an A+ student. Like what's next? And he said, oh, now you're going to show other people how to do this. And literally that same week, Shana texted me and said, I'm moving back home. I want you to get your financial coaching certification, which she's told me to get previously. And then before, I didn't even know what a financial coach was. Like, I don't even know what they did, if that was even a career. And so I said, done. I thought that I told God, I don't do hints, like subtle hints. I don't do that. I do neon shining lights. Like I need runways, like with all the lights there. And he did that for me. And Shana moved back. And since 2019, we've been building this wonderful business. We officially launched it though, April 1st of 2020. Yeah. And so today is our official 4-year birthday.
Congratulations. So congratulations on your anniversary and or birthday of your incredible business. Thank you for your service as a fellow military spouse. I want to
she's a veteran as well herself. So she's all the amazing things.
Oh my goodness. So thank you for your service. I personally host another podcast where I co-host with a friend of mine. We're both military spouses. And so we have a soft spot for the military, as my husband is a veteran and our family knows the joys of being told, here's your orders, ready, set. And you're like, yep, I guess so. Let's roll.
Exactly.
So I know that thought process, but I think it's amazing that you took it from your own stories, your own lives, and went, okay, how do I take this one size fit all and make it fit mine, right? And now, okay, God, let's take this and where do you want me to do with this? What do you want me to do with this? And allowing him to guide us, because I feel like that we're sometimes timid as women, but also sometimes just as Christians to take that and go, okay, I got this, here you go. Now what do you want me to do with it? And we get nervous because that's like a scary thing to step forward. So
actually, I think we might have the opposite problem. So for example, when Vanessa says she needs neon flashing lights and runways, we both do. And so as our business has now turned 4 years old, we have made so many bad decisions and not listened to God that he literally has had to shut the door so many times, because we're like, we'll do that. We'll do this.
So many red flags.
Do the other, like swirl. Yeah. And instead of like not, pausing, praying about it, looking at the red flags, like anything wise, we were just like running full force at anything. And so praise God that he will slam a door for us, because that's the way we have to learn really hard. And so we've had that happen a couple of times, and that has how our business has evolved over the last 4 years. And now we went from doing a lot of things kind of well to doing this one thing, and we have made millions of budgets at this point. And like to your point, for so many different kinds of people, so many different goals and lifestyles and wishes and desires. and marriages and just so many things that are different, that we have done so many budgets. This is our definite super duper specialty. We say, you know, we may be the only ones that like to talk about budgets, but we really do. And we try to make it fun and get our clients results. But yeah.
Yeah, I think our favorite part is seeing all the light bulbs go off, right? So it's, you know, and people, I had a client hire me one time and they said on the free call, she said, what can you do for me that I can't do for myself? And I thought, oh my gosh. And I had to pause and I thought, that's a really good question. But I said, well, if you would do it, or if you were going to do it, you would have already done it.
Yeah.
Right. And,
yes.
right. And I also said, listen, I'm going to look at things in a completely different way. I'm not, I'm not emotionally attached to your money like other people, like you are, right? And so what we do is we come in with a bird's eye view and we can see the whole thing. We can, they're in it, and it's really hard for them to see the next step, to see the light at the end of the tunnel, to see that they're going to be debt free. And we just already know, like we already see the whole plan, how it's going to lay out. And so it just gives them so much hope. And I love when we talk to them and we set the plan up and we just see all the light bulbs go off. We see them smile. We see marriages restored. We see the way that they change their communication with their kids and their family about money. It's just literally the most rewarding thing we can do. And God has paved the way for our business from the beginning. And someday there'll be a book about that. But we're so thankful for the journey. It's been amazing.
And I love it. I truly, because like you said, sometimes he's got to slam some doors. And I'm one of those. I am very much so. Like, I would not have gotten into this avenue if it wasn't for my business that I had to shut. Like, I had to shut it down. It put me in massive debt that I will own up and say that I'm still paying off. Yeah. Because guess what? I was running at anything. I was throwing spaghetti at the wall and I was like, yep, it's going to work. And then when it didn't, I was like, wow, this is not working. But like you guys said, is that there's you can be a jack of all and a master of none, or you can stand there and go, okay, this is my gift, right? Now let's use it. Let's use this one incredible gift because he made you one of one with special and unique talents that are only given to you. Now we need to use them to help others and to serve others. And so I think it's so incredible that, yes, sometimes we need the door slammed. And other times we need the neon signs and we need the like, here, I'm just going to shove you next. Like, here you go, right? You need the helpful hint. Yes. And it was funny because I was telling somebody else on another interview, I was like, sometimes we need to hire that coach because we can be reading the book with a magnifying glass and unable to see this next word because we're so close to it. Whereas that coach removes that magnifying glass from the book and go, look at the greatness that's all here for you. Right. And that's what I don't think a lot of people understand is that, yes, you can do it by yourself, but if you were going to do it by yourself, you would have already done it you wouldn't be sitting here in front of me. Like, I'm just here to help you do the things you know how to do already. And, or maybe I'm using my talent. So like when I tell people, I'm like, come on, let's create that podcast. Let's amplify your business. Right. And they're like, doing it. I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, great. Cause I do. Yeah. So you just record, look, put your pretty face out there. I'll do the rest of it for you. You don't need to know it. That's the great part of it, is that sometimes that I don't need to know how to make all the funny numbers make sense when I can have somebody like you guys who can make the funny numbers all work out for me. Like, just tell me what I need to do, right? Like sometimes
give me the next right step.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so funny that you say that because we were in coaching call last Wednesday and we had this whole deliberation about the question and like, how do we phrase it? And like, we really need to get this good coaching. And I got, how many, like 5 words. And he said, I will stop you right there. This is what you need to do. And we're like, duh,
that's
like
a dumb moment.
But that's what coaches do. To your point is, we see things differently. Like you said, a bird's eye instead of that magnifying. We're not, like Vanessa said, we're not attached to the numbers. So, and we've seen it work over and over and over. And you cannot show us a budget that is worse than anything we've ever seen. We've seen it all from like, really, we needed to add pages to spreadsheets for debts, you know, to, excuse me, you make $50,000 a month. What is your problem? You know, like it doesn't matter. We do not judge. There's no judgment. We love it. It's like just a fun math problem for us, no matter what, but we've seen it all. And you can't like, you don't have to worry about it because, you know, that's kind of our mission is to take the shame out of budgeting and show you like and you know, because honestly, a lot of people bounce straight from Dave's podcast to ours and they're like, I can't even listen to that anymore. I feel like overwhelmed and paralyzed. And so they come to us and we try to help.
And we have a lot of people that say, I asked Siri or Google for a Dave Ramsey podcast and you played. And we're like, oh, and then you have no idea how much I prayed for you. And then you just quote unquote popped up or showed up in my feed or on Facebook or on my podcast search thing. And so we just know that God's hands are in it. And we pray over our clients. We pray over our future clients. Like it's just an amazing journey. I had a client text me over the weekend and she said, I just want you know, she was graduated and she's still texting me, telling me how thankful she is. Now her and her husband have budget meetings on their own and what they're doing for their kids and their future. And that's just one of many, like, it's just so rewarding to be able to see where they start and then where they are continuing to go.
Yep.
That's incredible. That is, it gets me excited and I'm not even the coach. I'm not even involved and I'm just excited. So what has it been or how impactful has it been to be able to share your words, like putting your words out there and you're doing it via podcasting and then you're doing it in the other end of it as coaching, right? Going from the big podcast of a funnel to the one-on-one coaching. How has that been for you? What has it done for you? How has it helped you to understand your gifts more? All the things with sharing your voice and really amplifying it.
So the good news is one thing that we did do right in the beginning of our business. First of all, we have been debt-free and profitable the entire time. But other than that is we said, we're going to be as authentic and transparent as possible. There's going to be zero like jargon, no pretending. We're just going to be straight up. And what you see is what you get. And so fortunately, also Shana doesn't like to edit. So everything because I'm our quote unquote editor, it's fine. Everything that we would say to you when we're at coffee is exactly what you're going to get on our podcast or anywhere that you hear us. And so that makes our lives, that I would say is like the number one thing that has made this whole thing easier. Our words are just exactly what we would say if you were sitting next to us or in line or whatever.
And we recently added like live coaching calls. So we'll have a session with a client and both of us are there. That's the first time that you'll have both of us there coaching together. And we will use that coaching session as a podcast. This should kind of show people, hey, listen, this is what it's like. This is what it's about. We also do calls with people to kind of help them and just really pour into them. And so, you know, we went full force on our podcast this time, April 1st last year, and it has completely exploded. And it's been amazing. Our coaching has pretty much been full all the way through, but having that as our funnel, I think it was surreal for me. So I like to be more of behind the scenes type of person. And this one right here made me be more in the public, which I'm so thankful for because you have to get outside your comfort zone, right? Like the only way growth happens is outside your comfort zone. And so we started the podcast. And then shortly after we did the podcast, we started making the video version of it to go on YouTube so that way we had that content to use and we could use it in multiple places. And that's just really helped catapult our business and just help get the word out there. I think we have a lot of people that are listening to our podcast and being able to follow our steps completely free and on this journey. And they email us and we love hearing how it's helping them and how it's serving them.
But I think to your point about our words is we went from one podcast whenever we thought about it for the first year to 3 podcasts a week and very diligent, very consistent. And it's helped us really find between that and then we coach full time, right? We know exactly what we stand for. We know exactly what our words are. We know exactly what we're saying over and over. And because it's paired with what I said about us being authentic, it's just has a mind of its own. Like Vanessa said, we went from 5,000, it took us 2 years to get 5,000 plays to 300,000 in 1 year. And so we're just like, okay, so like we want to be as refined and make it as easy for the listener as possible, but also we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And apparently people are listening and we're very excited and grateful, but we just don't believe it all the time, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of surreal when you have people emailing you, like you have no idea the impact that you're making. And we're like, we are just so thankful that what we're doing is working and that it's serving them. And we love getting those emails from them. And like Shana said, it's like, do they know that it's just us, like 2 girls from Navarre, Florida? Like, I'm not really sure. We're just small town girls, but you know, we have a lot to say about it. And we really we've really honed into how it's worked for us, how it's worked for our clients, and we know this system like the back of our hand. And it's just really nice to be able to get the message out there to help so many people.
And I think it's great because you're able to see that ideal client all the time. You're speaking straight to them. We don't need the fluff. We're not dealing like in a business sense. If we want to talk about it in the business sense, you don't have to worry about whether social media goes down. You don't have to worry about the fluff of an algorithm and have you posted 1,700 times today. And like, you don't have to do any of that. You get to be raw, real you and come right at it and be like, here you go. Right. And you don't have to worry about keywords or this or that. Like, you can just put your incredible brain and knowledge and gifts out there and it's being seen, which is incredible. If you're talking business sense, like let's just talk the business for half a second. And what this can do is that this can create that, it can be that funnel for you. Because then now by listening just to 1 or 2 episodes, I already can go, okay, I want to see them. I want to talk to them. I love their dynamic and I love what they stand for, right? Because you're able to put that out there and it can be seen and it can be heard and you can be in the pockets of those that, you know what, maybe I can't do coaching today, but that doesn't mean I can't take tips from you until I can. Yep. And then we can sit down and have that one-on-one, right? And then I can really have you dive into it with me, but I can still take something and still better myself today based on what you're doing and still see the impact, like just by seeing that. And that, as a podcast producer, I'm going to tell you that is an amazing growth. Congratulations. Hooray. Love that. Because that's just awesome. That is truly awesome in a business sense, in what you want it to do. It is doing that. So congratulations to you guys. I would love to then, obviously, that leads into where can we find more about you guys? Where's your podcast? What other information can we find out about you guys and get in contact with you?
Well, hold on. No, I'm just kidding. As far as, because you said you're a podcast producer, I just like 13 seconds before we hopped on this call, Vanessa was like, no, I'm not going to say what you think, but we're going to save that for later. Vanessa was like, oh, we just sold 2 budgets from a podcast that's 2 months old. So to your point about being able to say what you say and then not post on algorithms or whatever the gross things that you said, the podcast that we made with, we gave a specific coupon code. That's how we know. And we made it. We loved it. It was like in February.
And it's actually an interview with one of our customers.
In January and February. And we're getting sales today based on that. And so it's just living there, breathing, growing, and you don't lose it like you do these social media posts and stuff. So I just wanted to reiterate that with what you're talking about being podcasts, being such a great funnel.
And I will say too, a lot of people tell us like, you're so lucky because you have somebody to do this with. And I will say there's no one on this earth that I would rather do this business with, but Shana, like and they say, we love your collaboration. We love like how you guys are together. And we've done a lot of live events here locally where we live. And we hear that a lot. And we know that God specifically paired us together to do this for life. And I was having a conversation with somebody. They're like, what if it doesn't work? And I'm like, I don't have a plan B. And that was like the day that we started this, I specifically said to Shana and myself, there is no plan B for me because this is what we're supposed to be doing. Like, I know that through and through. And I think not having a plan B, I know a lot of business owners are like, well, if this doesn't work, I'll just do this. And if this doesn't work, I'll just do that. And I think if you're an entrepreneur, you can do many things. Yeah. Right. Like you are wired to be able to handle any situation and be any role. And I think that is such a blessing, but also a curse in disguise, right? Because you can decide, you can spend a year, multiple years trying to figure out what it is, quote unquote, that you want to do, or you should do, or what you're good at. And I think you just need to pick one. So pick one thing that you're going to do and just go for it and be all in and not, I mean, don't be stupid about it. And like, but you don't want to have a plan B because otherwise you're one foot in, 1 foot out the whole time and you're not giving it your all.
Yeah.
Right. And I wholeheartedly agree on that. Like I have done many a business and my husband even said, he's like, you've done many businesses before, you know, like the network marketing things. He's like, what's going to be different about this? I was like, there is no other option. Like this is it. And, you know, we were out looking at houses and he goes, and it happened in the conversation. This is the first time in 3 years he's ever brought this up, but he's like, and when your podcasting does really well and continues to grow, it'll contribute to more income to the house. And then we won't have to worry about the bills as hard. And I was like, did everybody hold on, mark the calendar? Can we record that again? Can I say that again? Like, I need you to, never mind. Just keep driving, dear. Yes. Yeah. And I'm going to revel in that moment for myself because I haven't had anything other than this. Like this was the plan. And so I think, yes, like you said,
Well,
and
and let me
when you
just
change.
I know we can talk forever,
Yeah.
but I want to piggyback on that because I do think for entrepreneurs, it's totally okay to understand you had some practice businesses, right? So Vanessa's been, you know, an entrepreneur her whole life because her parents were entrepreneurs, and then she's had a few different endeavors, and so did I. And you have to learn, like entrepreneurs want to do, you want to create, you want to be doing and going, and it's okay to realize like this business is not where the one I was supposed to end up with, right? And it's okay. There's no shame that you grew into the next role every time, and that's great and wonderful. What we're dealing with right now is we have to stop doing so many things. We have to hire in other things so that we can keep staying, doing, and growing this one thing. And that's also another challenge because, like Vanessa said, you feel like as an entrepreneur you can do everything. You know you can, you have, but there is a point when you need to hire out like a podcast producer so that you can get your more time back, like you said, to do what God puts you on the earth to do.
Correct. 100%. Like I had a conversation with a client myself, and she does mortgages. And so she has a podcast all about mortgages and momming. And she's like, I'm handing this to you and I'm paying you to do this because she's like, I'm meant to be doing mortgages. Let me run the numbers. Let me do the thing. You just help me put my word out there. And I'm like, exactly. That's what I'm here for. Delegate this out. Let me help you with this. And so that you can stand there and do what you're great at. And understanding that there is that point when we are business owners that delegating isn't a bad thing. Like I could make a website. Is it going to look as great as somebody who's maybe a website designer or a graphic designer? No. So here, you do that. I'll do this and do what I'm good at and put my pretty face over here and just keep going, right? Like we just do it that way. And I think that it's not a bad thing. And sometimes as entrepreneurs, we try to do it all, but we don't have to do it all. We have to do what we are called to do. And that's the difference.
I know we were just having a CEO walk. That's how we have our walks. That's how we have our meetings or our walks. And we were saying that I said, I love admin stuff. I grew up in customer service. Like I helped my mom do all the money and to mop the floors and do the accounting and do the books and order stuff. And, you know, I love the admin, but I just don't have time. I don't have time or the brain calories to devote to doing all the admin stuff. So, you know, we recently hired a VA to do that. And then Shana doing the podcast editing and the producing stuff. It's like, yes, she is amazing at it, but also there's so many other things on our plate that we're trying to grow our business and make that work. Right. So it's like just trying to find the right people, and God will put those people in our path. And he has over and over again, we literally talk about it. And then bam, somebody shows up that is that person, right, that specializes in that field. And we're like, there we go. That's a sign.
Yeah. And it's just continuing to grow as an entrepreneur because, and that, you know, somebody's famous said, you know, entrepreneur will make you grow spiritually, like, and as a human, like you don't need to read any other book, like just become an entrepreneur and all the growth that you need will be given to you. And so like every level is very important. Like for us, you know, not squirreling, you know, was
really hard,
you know, and now it's like, okay, you have to accept, like she said, well, if we don't want to pay someone to do it, I'm like, but we do want to pay somebody to do it. You have to start becoming the kind of person that wants to pay somebody to do it, you know, and it's all good. It's all good. I love it. But the podcast, you know, has definitely been the biggest funnel, just game changer for our business. We always had people trickling in for coaching, but not like this. We can't even tell you.
And we kept figuring out, like, we just need, because every person we would get on a free call, they would convert into clients. Right. And we're not saying our conversion rate is amazing. Like it is, but we're not trying to toot our own horn there. We're just saying people wanted coaching and we had no idea how to find more people. We just knew if we just get more people, we would grow our business, but we don't know how to get more people.
But how do we get more people?
Yeah. And our podcast did that for us. Like it literally exploded. I remember the first month, it was April when we last year, I think we got like 10 new people in March and April and May and June and July. It like just kept going. And we just exploded. And then we launched a product that we have that people, it's like more of a DIY situation that people can do, but it's just been so good.
Which is awesome. Like, I just think that's so great to be able to go, okay, but I know where the difficulty is, right? Like you're seeing the trickle, but you want the full stream. Like, I know I need this. So now where's the hiccup? Where's that obstacle? And how do we get past that obstacle? But to be able to go, okay, if I could get more in, I can convert. Like
Right.
I've said that 1,000,001 times to myself. I'm like, when I'm in front of people, people don't have a problem saying yes to me. That's great. Like, thank you, customer service, for teaching me how to do that one. But then you're like, but now I need to get the people, like, and I don't have 1,000,000 hours a day as a mom. I'm still doing carpool and pickup and sports and all the other things. Hi, hello. How do I get more in? And in that concept of being able to go, okay, I can let it sit rent free right here and put a code and look at, I can see, I have a way of tracking that it's still being heard months later because it was still there. It's still up. I mean, I look back at some of my old episodes from when I first started 1.5 years ago, and I'm like, oh, those aren't pretty. And yet they're still one of the ones that are getting like the most views and most shares and most things. And you're like, oh, really? Why? Why, guys?
I know. That's exactly what happens. And it's a big pain point because we don't even have the same business basically. And so people, they're like, I want to know everything. So they go back to the beginning. We're like, please don't
do that.
Please don't do that.
Please don't. That's probably not a wise idea, you know, like, or you're just like, and you're like, I guess it resonates. So I love that it resonates. Maybe we should update it. You're like, you know, you kind of do one of those, but it's great that it can still be there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take extra time out of your day. It doesn't take extra time for you to do. If you choose to recreate it, wonderful, but it doesn't have to do that. And so I think it's great.
Yeah. You know, I think the biggest aha moment maybe for me, because I listen to podcasts, but not religiously like some people do. And I have more now. Well, even just like customers, right? So before we started our business, I wasn't a huge podcast listener, but what I realized in this, last, basically 2-3 years is that people are searching podcasts like they look on Google. And I didn't realize that. I'm like, I thought people search podcasts for exactly what they're like. They know
name of the podcast,
the person's name. They know the name of the podcast. They're not searching for keywords like, how do I get on a budget? Or how do I talk to my husband about money? Or, is debt consolidation a good idea, right? There's so many things. People are actually using the search bar on podcasts for that. And then that's really how they're finding us. Right. And that was a really big moment for me. I was like, oh, that was a light bulb. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So
yeah. And you don't have to worry about blackouts. You don't have to worry about anything else. Like just let them search it. Just let them search it like they do Google. And so, I love it all. And so what's the name of yours? Let's
I was gonna say,
I don't know if we answered that.
Let's go back to that question you asked 10 minutes ago. Okay. So, you can search Shana and Vanessa, you'll find us, but Financial Coaching for Women is our podcast. It's literally that simple too. But also we have a fun download if people want to get it. It's obviously totally free. And it's called 49 Smart Money Moves. So what we do when we coach, we give action items every single session. Like, here's what you need to do. And we went through and combed through the years of those that we have and said, what are the number one things that we can put into something that people could take and just implement immediately, little action items,
success,
and just immediately do for free. And then if they want to work with us later, fine, but this will help. And we just consolidated that into one guide that's very pretty and it's very bite-sized. It's not years worth of recap long. Don't worry about that. It's just a few pages. Anyway, and so we made that, and you can get that at myannualbalance.com/smart money.
Yeah.
I love it. So everybody, it's going to be in the show notes. Just click the button down below. But make sure that you guys are not just following this podcast, but please go follow theirs. Guys, the information out there is exceptional. So make sure that we're following along for you guys, because I love what you do. I want to share you to the world. So I'm glad that I got to have you guys here and that social media connected us and that we were able to do this. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. And make sure that you guys are following along. Leave any comments, questions that you got below, and we'll make sure to share it. And follow all of us on social media and all the places that we can follow, because why not?
Why not?
The more that you get, the better, right? Yeah. So thank you guys again for being on, and we will talk soon, guys.
All right. Thank you so much for having us.